Welcome, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Okay. Thank you to the organizing committee for putting this together, inviting me to participate, and the kind folks of DC for creating safe space for us to congregate, demonstrate, educate, and celebrate with one another. As we march today, I want to take a moment to remember the transgender, bisexual, gay, lesbian, and queer lives that cannot be with us here today. Let us continue our work to end HIV/AIDS and its stigma, to end violence against the transgender community by valuing and centering the lives of trans women of color and femmes of color, the most marginalized group within our community, and yet the very people who have long been our movement leaders. Let us honor those we have lost through tragedies like Pulse, which we will be remembering tomorrow on its one-year anniversary. I am here today as a proud Mexican, Irish, American, bisexual, queer woman, and I am for this intersectional movement for equality, unity, and pride. The lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer plus communities stand for equal rights has never been about just one person, one lived experience, or one identity. Our struggles are shared, and our resilience unrelenting. I am grateful to our bisexual leaders who have marched and protested and organized for the LGBTQ plus community, from Sylvia Rivera at Stonewall to Brenda Howard, who in 1970 organized the Christopher Street Liberation Day March that inspired the creation of annual pride parades across the world. From local bisexual icons like Lorraine Hutchins to A. Billy S. Jones-Hennon, from Stephen Donaldson, who founded the first ever student gay rights group at Columbia University in 1967, to bisexual activist Lani Ka'ahumanu, one of the key organizers of the 1993 March on Washington, the only bisexual to speak at the event, and who marched alongside Harvey Milk for our rights. Those of us who love more than one sex and or gender use many different labels, but we share a common experience. Our presence makes people uncomfortable. We exist in gray areas, areas that if folks sometimes deem as not gay enough or not straight enough. If we are in monogamous relationships, we are viewed as having chosen a side. If we are polyamorous, we are seen as being damaging to the cause. Our very existence threatens heteronormativity and the gender binary. The bisexual plus community has long recognized our intersections with the most marginalized groups within the LGBTQ plus community. We are bisexual, pansexual, asexual, intersex, trans, non-binary, bigender, agender, two-spirit, old, young, black, brown, indigenous, Asian Pacific Islander, poor, disabled, immigrants, undocumented, asylum seekers. And whether it pertained to race, age, your chosen label, your gender identity, or any other perceived disparity, we have stood in solidarity with you. We ask you to stand in solidarity with us. Based on recently published reports from organizations like the CDC, the National Institute of Health, and the Movement Advancement Project, bisexuals now have higher rates of mental illness, sexual assault, domestic violence, and poverty than gays. The LGBTQ plus population, but receives less than 1% of funding. This needs to change. We are in a unique position to create change through education, but we cannot do it alone. If you have conflicts surrounding bisexuals and all other non-monosexual identities, I ask that you face them in order to create solidarity. And do not stop there. Stand up against biphobia and bi-erasure. Let's face and end the transphobia, the sexism, and racism that plagues our community. Let's make meaningful investments in LGBTQ people of color in leadership roles. Stand with and for us as we continue standing with and for you. It is vital to our community, particularly our youth, to see themselves reflected positively. Instead of dictating their stories to them, it is so vital that we teach them to be the custodians of their own narratives. More than 20% of millennials now identify as LGBTQ, and they need our support, and we need to listen to them. We need to shut up and listen to them. With dual upbringings in Philadelphia and Atlanta, our next speaker is a 2017 True Colors Fund 40 of the 40 honoree, as well as the 2017 True Colors Fund True Production Fellow. In spite of her former experiences of housing instability, she prides herself on always setting goals and priorities and successfully implementing them. As a Black transgender woman, she stands firm in her purpose as a student, musician, and community health worker at Us Helping Us People into Living, Inc. As the 2017 True Production Fellow, she will work alongside True Colors Fund staff to plan and execute the 4th annual 40 to None Summit, a convening that brings together amazing people from around the country that work to end LGBTQ youth homelessness. In her words, "The way my life has transitioned, I found myself becoming stronger in my advocacy through the talents that I possess. I feel that I was placed here on this earth to advocate the best way I can, and I allow God to guide to where that path may lead." Please give a warm welcome to Aurora Lloyd!
Good afternoon.